to another episode of Horror Movie Night. This week we all praised the pit because we watched Jug Face. Unfortunately, Adam can't be sacrificed because he has an incest baby that he must take care of. Scott's a little busy with the moonshine making, and Matt's busy carving jug faces. Thankfully, this week we have a great guest, sort of, Kanon, who I'm sure will be willing to be taken by the pit for the greater good.
Hey, I have a question. Why is it that Adam was the one with the incest baby and I'm the one with the still? I'm pretty sure it'd be the opposite.
Because I'm the one getting laid, thank you very much. You're married. Fuck off.
Hey, I've heard that married people get laid like 20, 30 times a week.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Well, you have to have children as like, actual evidence of said lovemaking.
I just got it.
So, Kanon, you picked Jug Face for us to watch, and
are you wondering why I picked?
I'm sure we'll get to why shortly. You were really adamant on Jug Face too, and I knew nothing about this movie. I think you told me it was a slasher, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. It sounds like a slasher. I never said that, man. I never.
There's a few incidences of slashing in the movie, but that's about as close as it gets.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to tell you up front, as I read through the plot line, I promise you that I watched this movie from start to finish. But there's definitely a huge gap where I just summarized everything in like one sentence because this is a movie that's 80 minutes long, and to its benefit and its detriment, it doesn't waste any of that 80 minutes, but it's obnoxious to type out every single plot point that happens, because there's like a different plot point being developed every 2 minutes in this movie, and it's kind of annoying. And I'm probably going to mispronounce at least half these fucking names. So we are introduced to Ada, who is having sex with...
Ida.
There we go, right off the bat. So we're introduced to Ida, who's having sex with
Ada! Long A! Jesus Christ, did you actually watch the movie? It was 3 hours of people saying her name.
Who's having sex with Jessaby, her brother, while... Man, this is going to be awful. Dwight is...
Okay, do you want me to do this? Because I literally just finished watching this movie like 45 seconds ago.
Okay, just say the name of the guy who makes the jug faces.
Dwayne.
Okay, so Dwayne is making jug faces out of clay. Now, this community has a pit that apparently gives off healing powers, but if the jug face resembles somebody in the community, then they must be sacrificed to the pit the creature that lives inside the pit. Now, Dwayne's latest jug looks identical to Ada, which causes her to steal it and hide it to try to save her own life. Now, she is set to be joined by Bodhi. However, she has found out that she's pregnant with her brother's baby. Meanwhile, the creature kills a local girl, and right before that, Ada has a vision of it happening. Dwight agrees to make a new jug, but he doesn't remember if the one is missing, or he doesn't remember what the one that's missing was of, because he's in a trance-like state while he makes them. So this one comes out in the image of Bodhi, who is then sacrificed. And then I just wrote, more and more people are killed. Eventually, Ada agrees to be sacrificed. Because it just kept going, and like I kept checking the clock.
Pretty well the gist of it, though. I mean, you're really not missing. You're missing Ghost Boy and Grandpa.
Yeah.
Oh, you're missing Ghost Boy because that's the most cringy of all the special. Well, the only time they actually gave a shit about trying to do special effects, they failed so miserably that they were like, "Let's not show the monster in the pit."
Yeah, there was like random quick glances of parts of it. But like that's it.
No, I've watched this movie twice through, and there's actually no time when you actually see any part of the monster. You see like people trying to get away from it, but I don't think you actually see the monster at all.
I don't know.
You see somebody off camera squirting people with a super soaker full of blood, but that's about it.
Yup.
You know what's funny is there's an actor credited for playing the monster. And I think what might have happened... I don't
believe anything you say anymore, so I'm gonna have to fact check you on this.
What happened?
I don't know. I just like that there was literally the sound of a mic drop after Scott said that.
Oh wow! Okay.
No, I was putting down my phone because IMDb is slow on my phone.
I know, but it made the sound of a mic drop over here.
Oh God, edit this part out.
Don't tell me how to edit this show. I will say that I don't think that the actress who plays Ada is awful. I don't really think. Well, there's one actor that I'll talk about later. But most of the acting in this movie is not bad. But it doesn't feel like anyone's bringing anything to the table that I haven't seen from any other creepy cult hillbilly film.
No, the acting is pretty solid.
Some of the I'd say most of the actors are at least well established. Like the guy who played Dwight Granger, I think.
Sean Bridgers.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Sean. Where did I get Granger from? Sean Bridgers. He gives a credible performance. Sean Young as the mother. She gives actually one of the best performances of her life. Although I can't really think of any movie where she was well established as a fantastic.
Oh my
actor.
God, she was Einhorn in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. How are you trying to say that this is better than Ace Ventura: Pet Detective?
Her name was Einhorn. That's really hilarious.
Einhorn, yeah, like
Einhorn was a man. Spoiler alert to a movie from.
Yeah, I was about to say, are you talking about number 2, where it turns out that they have a dick?
Einhorn was in the first one, man.
Was that the first one? What's
the
one
second
with
one's
the
in Africa.
Oh, yeah, and then he takes out the chick with has sex with the African princess with the fantastic boobs that you never really see.
Guys, can we watch Ace Ventura sometime?
No.
Oh.
Luckily, we have a couple horror comedies coming up, but to save us from all this dismal shit that we've been watching lately.
Yeah,
but
man, it's been
not this week.
It's been 2 depressing fucking movies back to back.
I wouldn't call it that depressing a movie. I mean, they
Kanon,
she saves the village. I mean, that's
Kanon, one of my notes literally just says, "Oh, sweet, a forced miscarriage." Just when I thought the feel-good party was coming to an end.
No, but that child was an abomination. So it worked out.
This is why we love having you on the show. Dude, have you thought about running for city councilman lately? Because you should.
Yeah,
You'd charm the pants off all the voters.
and then you'd make, abomination.
My local town actually has this fantastic pit that we hold town council there, and that might be a good place to start my career. Thank you.
How are you even Skyping with us? You don't have running water.
He went into town and he sold some moonshine for a little bit of Wi-Fi time at the internet cafe.
How's that one Starbucks in your Podunk town working out for you? Oh,
what's a Starbucks? We don't know. We just have the pit coffee.
My pa caught a 3-star buck just the other day.
So you were talking about the acting. I will say that. So I was watching this movie, and as what usually happens when I'm watching a movie for horror movie night and I'm not enjoying myself, I'm messaging the guys in Facebook to tell them how much I'm not enjoying myself. And then out of nowhere, they just get a message that was like, well, no, never mind. The last 5 minutes really turned it around for me.
Next thing that happens.
And Scott messages me and is like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I said, I was laughing my ass off at Dwight's delivery when he's just like, it's okay. I was tired of them anyway. And then, the ghost child and the grandpa come to save Adea or whatever. Yeah. And
holy shit, Adea?
I don't fucking know. They come.
This reminds me back when I first started meeting up with or coming on to the Horror Club podcast, and you would fuck my username up so bad.
Ichabod Crane guitar.
You got it right. You got it right. Trying to get it wrong.
My name literally has one additional letter. How do you pronounce it, Matt?
Life Ice Sublime.
Life Ice Sublime, also known as Adam O'Brien.
And
Anyway.
then, of course, he doesn't even try with you, name Kanon.
They're trying to... Well, now I know it's Smayanek. But then they're like, the ghost and the grandfather free her. And she's like, I'm going to stay here. And he starts yelling at the ghost, but it's the most monotone. He's just like, "Hey, come back, take her.
That was the worst.
I mean, you realize that Dwight is he's not the intellectual elite of that village. He's a product of like generations of inbreeding.
Yeah,
God, intellectually, he's like.
There aren't more of him though. Like, why isn't half that village mentally handicapped?
I don't know. I guess it's like a sin because the mom at one point does say like, "Wow, we don't need another Dwight walking around here." Like, I guess they sort of like keep anyone that is soft in the head away.
Yeah, but I thought the implication of that was that they still thought that the baby was Dwight.
Oh, I guess. Okay, I want to talk about that scene where the ghost and the grandpa try and free her because that's the worst part of this entire movie. It's the screenwriters are just so out of steam and have no idea what to do. So the ghost walks up. The ghost walks up and he goes, "Hey, we're here to free you." And she goes, "What if you didn't free me?" He'd be like, "Then everything would be pretty cool." She's like, "All right, I'm gonna stay." That was it. That was the penultimate choice of the movie. Was like she had to make this choice. She's like, "Yeah, never mind. I'm good. Okay. No, I'm okay."
Well, okay, that's a good point. But I think in general horror like this is common in horror for some stupid reason where you have ghosts that provide exposition and additional plot points.
Yep.
And it's like what. Why are they doing this? Because it's terrible and it's ruining the film. I don't know, but they do it in so many different films that you kind of go, yeah, I know they're going to fuck it up by bringing in a ghost that's going to give background and exposition. But I'm going to just ignore that part of the movie because it's basically part of the genre. If you're into the genre, you've seen it enough times where you know it's just. It's part of the ride. It's part of the experience.
Yeah, man, dude, haven't you ever watched another movie about incest babies? Come on.
It is my favorite genre. So
second favorite genre behind Rape Squad.
Hey, you don't know there's not incest babies somewhere in there. You haven't watched it yet.
Usually when I watch something about that, the video only lasts about 3.5 to 4 minutes long.
Luckily, so do you.
With you skipping around to the good parts.
Yep, I'm looking at related videos.
Related videos. It's fun there.
3 or 4 windows open at the same time for some variety.
Yep.
So, hey, we've kind of gotten off the whole point of the first question here. So, Kanon, dear friend, why the fuck did you make us watch this film?
Oh my god. Well,
you've been trying to pick this for like 3 or 4 rounds, like well before the Horror Movie Night podcast. You were really pushing Jug Face.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know if you've noticed this, but all of my picks up until Creepshow 2, which I did not.
We're zombies until this one almost.
They were all independent films.
Ah.
I don't know why other people pick films, but generally when people do pick movies, there's a reason why, and oftentimes the film's entertaining for whatever reason. Like I can only say there's a handful of films we've seen in Horror Club that I thought were complete wastes of time. But for the most part, it's the really unusual horror films that you never really thought to see that are the best. And I kind of want to expose people to horror films that they wouldn't have otherwise have seen.
I kind of get now. I mean, this episode won't be recorded for probably another 3 or 4 months, but I understand now why you referred to us deciding to go with Creepshow 2 as the second worst pick.
It's the only non-independent film.
Yeah,
the only independent film.
At first, I'm like, "What are you talking about? That movie's awesome." But now I get it. You really want us to go with the independent films, and that's why it was your second worst pick.
Yeah, right.
And has anybody ever told you that there's good independent films that you could
pick? I want to point out that the Rotten Tomatoes score for it was, I think,
through the charts. It's ridiculous.
It's like close to 80, right? It's like 70 something.
Yeah. What the fuck were they watching?
So for horror, most horror films get horrible reviews. Even the good ones, I think one of the best received.
Yes, please tell us.
Is like Exorcist. Oh, like a good horror movie that did poorly on Metacritic. I want to say your favorite. I want to say your favorite the zombie World War II movie.
Frankenstein's Army. That
Frankenstein's Army.
The masterpiece that was the best pick you've ever had.
Because you're trying to like ruin our day, and it just made it awesome. I love that movie.
Okay, but so there's another film that a few of you liked. I think it was The Tunnel, which was another independent film.
Was it called? I know the one you're talking about.
It's pretty solid. Or are you talking about Absentia?
Absentia, I think, is what he's talking about.
That's the Silverfish monster.
Yeah, right. That one was not very well received.
Really, I loved that movie. That was great.
Yeah, I know, I did too. It was a fantastic independent film. But another reason why I picked this one is because it emphasizes. You'll disagree with me on this, atmosphere and character development over like action sequences or trying to be entertaining.
I won't actually disagree with that. I think Scott and I both said this to each other last night. It's actually a decent premise for a movie.
No, here's the thing: it's an awesome premise for a movie. It's just not a good execution. It's not the execution I wanted.
I'm going to pretty strongly disagree with you, Kanon. What fucking development did Ada have from the beginning of this movie to the end of this movie?
Well, she went from fucking her brother to not fucking her brother.
she goes from being immature and avoiding responsibility for actions to, at the end, sacrificing herself for the good of the group. Even though she's basically perpetuating a demon-worshipping cult.
You know what? Really, she should have been like, holy shit, I've been brainwashed my entire life. I should let the demon keep killing everybody else because it wants me, but it won't come after me. Like, I don't understand this demon. This is the most bitch demon ever. It's like, I can kill anyone in the forest. I can go after anybody, and they can't do shit about it. I'm going to go after the people that, like, I'm going to go after the people around the person that I'm supposed to eat next as punishment for her.
It seemed like it was really only going after that one guy's family, like the one dude that whipped Dewey, because they got his son killed, and then it immediately went after his daughter, and then it went after his wife. I was like, what did this guy do to the demon? Like, there's something we're not being told here. This guy's getting punished hard for it.
I have one other note, actually, in reference to the whipping scene that just says, am I the only one that thinks that the song that plays during the whipping scene just sounds like a really shitty cover of Everybody Hurts by R.E.M.?
I didn't like the music.
That would make it. If the movie was worth watching again, I mean, it's not. But if it was, I would totally go back and rewatch that scene and just laugh my balls off about that comparison.
Hey, I could have sworn I heard you say you watched it twice, which is bizarre.
I did watch it twice.
Now I know why you were so anti this pick, Adam or Scott. I thought you had never even seen it.
I heard about it on, I think, Our Horror or something like that, and when it got released, because I don't think it had a theatrical release. It just went kind of straight to Netflix. And some people said, "Oh, this movie is pretty cool." I didn't read up on it because I didn't want to spoil it for myself, and so I immediately watched it because it was fresh on Netflix. So this was, I don't know, a year and a half ago, and I remember being super stoked in the first 10 minutes. A little grossed out by the incest, but I was like, I've seen worse. It's backwater bullshit. Like, it's kind of to be expected. And then it just kind of never plateaued. People started dying, and you never see the monster. And then you see the ghost boy, and that's when I was just kind of like, okay, I got to see what happens at the end, but I'm checked out of this film. And so I watched it a second time to try and see if there was something that I missed, and I didn't see anything that I missed. I was really just bored. I understand why you picked it, Kanon. Like, it's not, for an introspective movie, there are way worse movies to watch, absolutely. But for the purpose of this podcast, it's not fun. It's not fun or funny, and it's not even, you can't even make fun of it.
Yeah.
It's just a depressing movie.
It's an 80-minute movie that feels like it's 3 hours long.
It really does. The second time watching it felt like an eternity, and so I was like, oh, I can't wait to watch Night of the Creeps. So I did.
That being said, I love the ending credits song, but I like that type of weird, like, folky country shit.
Okay, so let me get back to Scott's first question about, so you have this all-powerful monster. Why doesn't it just kill Ada and get that shit over with, and then go back to being worshipped by a group of methamphetamine addicts? So
are they doing meth there? I think they just like shine.
No, I think that shine's basically a metaphor for meth, but
hey, that's deep. Good job. I would never thought that. Well, a shine and a still, that makes sense, like in the 60s or 70s, but it's 2013, I think, when this movie would have been based. And
no one's buying shine anymore.
No, everybody. What are you gonna make money off of? You're gonna make money off of methamphetamines. Very good. Man, you're so smart.
I know. I thank you.
That's why he gets fairly free reign on his picks, because he at least does like hours of research for most of them.
How many books did you read for this?
Dark Alliance by Gary Webb. So anyway,
that was specifically for this podcast. Eh?
Yeah, 600-page book on the Contra cocaine scandal.
Man, he pulled that out of nowhere.
It's
a real book about cocaine scandal and the Contras. Man, you're so topical. Like, are you a wizard?
Wow, man! I all these compliments. I'm so overwhelmed. We need to hang out
right now.
Yeah, we need to hang out sometime and give each other Grecian massages. I have a feeling that would work out really well. So anyway, you're asking. So what's up with this all-powerful demon, and why doesn't it just kill Ada? So I think they're kind of going off the Judeo-Christian conceptualization of demons, where so humans have free will, and demons seek to pervert that. They seek to make humans make bad choices, and so rather than doing all the dirty work himself, he makes other people do it for him. Does that make any sense?
It makes sense, but I completely disagree, because I think that if they were going for, I mean, that's a fine interpretation, but I don't think it holds up to the mythos of the story, because if it was a Judeo-Christian demon, it would be not the shunned, like the ghosts in the woods. And why aren't there more ghosts in the woods? If every person who gets sacrificed to the pit becomes a shunned and their spirit can never rest and roams the woods, why aren't they fucking everywhere? That's a really bad world-building piece in this movie. And world-building is super important to me.
Yeah. I think...
But just wait for your rebuttal. But the bigger issue, I think, is that... So if the demon is trying to make Ada make bad decisions, why is it punishing her for not making the decision that it wants her to in the first place? It's never, and they say this multiple times in the movie, it's never done this before, quote unquote, where the demon in the pit, this whatever entity it is, wants a soul or a body for whatever reason, and it wants a specific person at a specific time. It has some sort of set of rules. It has to have a set of rules. And they set those rules up at the beginning, where they say that if you have a jug face made of you, you need to willingly go to the pit, sacrifice yourself willingly, and you become one of the shunned, as far as I understand. And then you roam the woods.
Yeah. I don't think the writers got everything right when they were coming.
No, I don't think they got anything right. Their original, it's the same thing that I was just reading about It Follows on Our Horror Today, and Quentin Tarantino talking about how they made these rules and then fucking threw them out the window. And for the first time in my life, I will say Quentin Tarantino was completely right. That's the only time I'll ever say anything about Quentin Tarantino in a positive light.
You're not a Quentin Tarantino.
Well, you could have just listened to your two co-hosts who said the exact same thing like 4 or 5
right,
episodes
but who
ago.
gives a shit about our opinions? Everybody gives a shit about Quentin Tarantino's opinions. So anyway, he was
everyone that's listening to the sounds of our voice right now, who gives a shit? You just discounted everyone.
Every listener we've ever had, fuck you. Hashtag Scott's thoughts.
In the shower. No, listen. Those 4,000 people that listened to fucking Dr. Giggles, they didn't listen for our deep conversation. They listened for dick jokes. That's what they listened to us for. Anyway, no. So anyway, Quentin Tarantino has a point, though. If you set up rules, you should follow them. And the people that wrote this movie set up rules half-assedly, given that they're half-assed rules, but they set them up, and then the demon basically does everything but what the rules say. He just keeps breaking the rules the whole time. Like the brother is sick, and so to somehow punish Ada into being sacrificed, instead of just fucking taking her, the demon is like, let me kill your brother. Let me kill the guy. Also, it does favors for her. It kills people that bug her, like that girl who's bugging her while she's washing clothes, kills the guy that she's supposed to get married to, kills her shitty mom or dad, kills her shitty dad. Like, it just kills everybody that gets in her way. So it's almost like the demon wants her to kill everybody in the village and then have her little monster baby. Even though also...
I wanted any of those people.
So why made a monster? Then why did it kill him? I mean, if the demon has more free will than basically anyone else in this movie. Everybody else is bound to their fate.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was trying to get her to sacrifice herself. But
that's an admirable decision to make, though. Like, it's not trying to make her make a corrupt decision, because the corrupt decision would be not to sacrifice herself and to continue allowing these people to die. It's as if it wants her to make the righteous choice and sacrifice herself to save everybody else's life.
It's an angel.
It might be. It is. If you pray to it, I don't know.
Yeah. And it keeps them from getting sick.
Here's my issue with the movie. I didn't know exactly what the benefit of this was. I didn't understand why they were sacrificing. I assumed it had something like, I don't know, to do with like crops or something. That's usually the go-to, is like, we're sacrificing people so that the crops come in good this year. But then they explained that it was just healing people. And the dad said, oh, it's worked this way ever since we didn't die from the pox or whatever. But
I think it's more than that. Because it's not just healing, it's also crops. And I think methamphetamine.
But they live in the woods. What are they growing? It doesn't make any sense. There's no arable land there.
They're growing crystals. They're growing
crystals for the meth. Love it.
But yeah, if all it is providing them with healing, I mean, modern healthcare exists. She goes to town and says, I'm sick, I need a doctor. And they're like, okay, we'll get you one. There you go. What the fuck? Why do you even? Why do people have to die for you to get, affordable? Well, I mean, not affordable health care. This takes place in the States. I guess that's it. This movie is all an allegory for the American healthcare.
It's like that comic book of if Breaking Bad took place anywhere outside the United States. And the episode would be like 30 minutes long, the whole show. It's just be like, you've got cancer. Oh, well, thank God I can just go to the doctor and get that taken care of.
Exactly. Can somebody take a screenshot of the scene in this movie where the hand was sitting beside the pit and just caption it, American healthcare, it costs you an arm and a leg? Can somebody do
that? So anyway, all of that is true, but something Scott said... So he was saying that the shunned it was kind of a silly concept, but I believe the way it's written, and it's still terrible, but it's less terrible than Scott indicated. The shunned are the people who were killed as an act of retribution by the pit monster, right?
Oh, and so this has happened in the same way.
It did happen.
Okay,
it did happen before.
Yeah, when her grandpa, they wanted to take
he hit his wife's jug.
Right, and he's haunted by the little boy who was killed by the pit monster in retaliation for him not sacrificing his wife.
Right, so, but then she still died. Like, I don't understand the pit monster. It really bugs the shit out of me.
It's basically like sort of a primordial because so in the Christian religion most of the demons are actually the gods taken from cultures that they destroyed. So for example, some people theorize that Lucifer is actually Sol Invictus or Apollo, one of the sun gods. Lucifer is described as the morning star,
the light bringer. Yeah,
light bringer. But basically, if you go to like all of the Christian demons, they're all taken directly from Greek mythology, and some of the patron saints, I'm sorry, not patron saints. Some of the angels are also taken. The pit monsters it's sort of like this primordial deity that was probably turned into a demon in Christian in parlance, or in the Christian religion. It conceptualizes that as demon. So it's not. I wouldn't say it's like a pure evil creature. It's sort of like it's something of an earlier mythological creature. It's not good or evil. It's something in between.
Okay.
How did I get onto this? I think
I don't know.
You were by
like,
picking this garbage pick. All right, so unless you have any other things to add in there, are we allowed to have notes from Adam over there?
I didn't take any notes on this, man.
Oh,
I did not take. There was literally nothing. The only note that I would have taken is what the fuck is with this Ghost Boy bullshit. That would have been the entirety of my notes. So yeah, I mean we're gonna jump into what did we watch.
All right, Kanon, you can start off there. Is there anything that you watched this week?
Hold on, I took a list of shit that I watched because I decided I was going to start watching free stuff on YouTube.
Is it because Scott's been providing links left and right?
I'll go ahead and give you a list of stuff that I liked, and I've watched a lot of stuff since the last time we spoke. I watched Night Train to Terror based on a non-recommendation from Matt. That was a terrible movie. I would fly over there and punch you in the gut for this, but you didn't recommend it, so that would be completely fucked up.
You should watch Serial Insane Clown Killer next, because he did suggest that.
Dude, Serial Insane Clown Killer is not a good movie, but if you've got the right group of people to watch it with, it's a great night.
Oh shit! I would pay money to have you guys on Skype while I was watching that. Okay, so I watched The Burbs. That's actually a fantastic movie.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, man, The Burbs is fucking great.
Yeah, Tusk. I love that movie. Dreams, Dreamscape. Firestarter.
Basically,
are you literally just the list that you?
This is the list of shit that you wanted us to watch.
I'm like, these are starting to sound really familiar.
Out of all of these, I'd say one of my favorites is Starry Eyes. That was a fairly good.
And I don't love Starry Eyes, but I like it. But I know one person on this call fucking hates that movie.
Yeah,
it was shit. Fucking shit. I'd rather watch Going Clear, the fucking documentary about Scientology, than this weird fucking. Yeah.
That's what I watched.
Adam, you want to go?
I haven't watched a lot. I'm finally finishing up the third season of Dexter. Not as bad as the second season. A little bit better. I'm super pumped. Really?
I kind of like the well, I don't know. The second season, I just remember constantly being on the edge of my couch as it was happening. Like, how's Dexter going to get out of this one? But
you sure you weren't watching Scooby-Doo?
But the third one, I got kind of bored with like him and the fucking dude just palling around for like 6 episodes.
Yeah. Well, I realized that there's a very obvious pattern to Dexter. It goes, Dexter meets somebody, he lets them know he's a serial killer, and he later regrets it and kills them. That happens in almost, I think, 5 seasons of that show. That happens. But Trinity Killer's coming up next, so I'm fucking jazzed for that. And I watched the newest episode of Rick and Morty last night, and it was by far the weakest episode of that show that I've ever seen. It was really shitty. Right. And I had people over. I was like, yeah, fucking come check the show out. It's going to be sweet. And they were like, what? What the fuck was that? Like, that was terrible. But it had a lot of references to, if you're a fan of Dan Harmon's podcast and stuff like that, or know like what the origins of Rick and Morty are, it had references to that, but that still didn't necessarily make it any better of an episode. It was pretty shit. I would certainly not suggest that as the first episode for anybody to watch. And that's about it.
All right. Actually, I want to let Scott go last because I know he's got better ones than me. So this week, I worked through 2 of the DVDs in that giant binder. I watched
2? Yeah,
well, I actually work now, so I don't get to just sit around and watch movies all day. It sucks. I watched Wrong Turn for the first time. It was okay.
With Elijah Dushku?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, it's not terrible.
Yeah.
Is that the one where they go up a tree and just hide in a tree house?
Yes, they hide in a tree, which is kind of the most brilliant thing that ever happened in a horror movie in one respect. But, it wasn't bad. I don't understand how there's 6 of those fucking things, but...
What?
One of them was okay. I watched Madman, because that was in his DVD binder, and I did not hate it as much as Scott did, but it's definitely not good.
Dude, when the guy starts philosophizing, I was just done with that.
No. That is a movie that is 90 minutes because they felt like it was supposed to be 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of shit that is just in there as filler. But, like, I liked the death scenes. I mean, it may rival Waxwork for decapitation quota, because I think that's the only thing he does in that movie is decapitate motherfuckers.
There are way more people in Waxwork that get their heads chopped up. Wait, that's a perfect segue into what I watched.
Yeah, I know,
Waxwork
but I got two more.
Lost in Time, bro.
Hold up. I got two more.
I thought you said you had 4.
I do have 4. I said 2 of them so far.
Yeah. You said I only watched 2 in the binder, but there must be 2 on each.
There's
okay,
2 more.
Gotcha.
And then I watched for the Good, the Bad, and the Wretched podcast I appeared on. I had to watch Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, which still not a terrible movie. I actually like that movie more the older I get, and the more I appreciate the really cheesy the dance scene, bro.
That's how I imagine you hanging out every Friday night. Just fucking bouncing on your bed, putting weird clothes on, and then taking anything phallic and making it look like a dick.
Using my butt to close all the drawers.
The older Matt gets, and the more at terms he gets with his homosexuality, the more he likes Nightmare on Elm Street 2, the man inside me.
The man inside me, yeah.
The best thing that I watched this week, though, was a doc called Spine Tingler, the William Castle story, which is not available on Instant Watch. I got it through the Netflix discs, but it's a good little film. It's literally just about the history of William Castle and his crazy ass movies and the way he would do his insane gimmicks filled with like interviews with Joe Dante and John Waters and all the directors that kind of tried their best to carry on the William Castle craziness. It's a good short one. I definitely enjoyed it. I would maybe watch it again, but I recommend it. If you, I think we did did we ever do the Tingler on here or no?
No, but we should.
We should absolutely do the Tingler just for having Adam do the whole episode as Vincent Price. literally Vincent Price's notes.
Welcome to another episode of the Horror Movie Night. Come along, my friends. Come along.
It's the best I can do for you, dude.
I've only got 12 pages of notes. It's the best I can do.
Dude, if you can get 12 pages of notes out of the Tingler, it's because you're writing down every word that they say. That movie is so thin. It's amazing. Oh, I love that film.
So, Scott, you kind of gave away a little bit, but you watched Waxworks 2, Lost in Time.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. So I sent you that message, and I was like, not bad, when I hadn't finished the last 15 minutes of the movie. So I have to retract that statement. It was pretty fun, and then they completely lost their footing in the last 15 minutes, how they were going to wrap up that fucking story. And
they wrapped it up with a rap.
Well, the thing is, the rap is just 2 random black dudes that had nothing to do with the movie. Like, every single person in that movie was white. There was not one non-white person in that movie. And then they're just these 2 random rappers that look like Run DMC because they've got like those pork pie hats on, and they're just kind of like hanging out or outside the court steps where they where one of the parts of the movie is filmed, just quoting their ad-libbing their lines or whatever, and then and they show up in some of the scenes. So like those guys were on set the whole time, I think, in the different sets, because everybody's in costume and makeup and the sets are like underway. And so those guys were basically around the movie the whole time. But it was all white people in the movie. It's so weird. But yeah, it was.
Somebody just wandered onto set and was like, "Hey guys, Two Live Crew is on the studio a lot. Do we want to maybe just get them in here really quick?" Or?
That would be amazing. I would love it if that was exactly what happened. But yeah, so it was. I'm glad I watched it finally because it was something I've been wanting to watch. But I don't know if I would recommend it. I'd recommend the first half of it, but it gets quite Bill and Ted-y later on, not in a good way. But anyway, so I watched that. I watched the beginning of Parasite and noped out of it because it was boring. I know Matt watched that a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, like I said, it was. I watched it. That's all I can really say about it. I like the creature effect, but that's like literally once you see the creature, you're like, oh, that's what it is. All right, moving on.
Yeah. Oh well, I guess it almost doesn't count. But I started watching The Ruins, and guys, I think we're gonna have a lot to talk about when we discuss The Ruins.
It's a fairly good movie. I thought it was a fairly good movie.
Kanon, if we can't get whoever picked it, I don't even remember who picked it.
Rich, but it was a Rich pick.
Oh, Rich! How about we get Rich and Kanon on? Oh my God, that'd be pandemic.
We are ready for Rich so bad every time we have him on. We can't have Kanon on too. The guy won't get a single word. But I am going to read the book for The Ruins before we discuss it.
I feel like when Rich is on the podcast, it's kind of like when you hear that people go to watch a morning show on the radio, like they just sit in like a soundproof room and just watch the guys talk. Like that's essentially Rich appearing on the podcast. He's so nice. He doesn't want to talk over us because he's just a fan, which I appreciate. But like he is allowed to talk.
That's St. Mort fan.
All right.
Yeah. Well, Justin got steamrolled last time. That might have been.
Yeah, I don't know. We're on his kill list right now. So.
My favorite line from that whole episode is like, "There's 2 reasons why I like this movie," and just no, shut up, no.
Do you guys think that might be why you're seeing so much turnover in the?
Because we're gigantic assholes. Yeah, that might be part of it. You might be right.
I'm not saying that, but maybe that might be why. I'm just.
I'd like to steer clear of me being associated with the assholeness. No, those guys get
the Odd Thomas discussion.
I feel like if it's one of those things where it's like on the actual podcast, with the exception of some episodes, there are a couple episodes. I'm definitely the person who tries to play really nice, but man, if Scott and Adam ever got pissed at me and wanted to leak conversations from Facebook, I might come off as the shittiest one out of the 3 of us. So waxwork too, good, huh?
It was something. That's all I got to say about that.
So did you watch anything else besides that in Parasite?
And I started watching The Ruins, man.
Okay, well, we'll save that for later.
I've been reading the Swamp Thing, the saga of the Swamp Thing before Alan Moore came on, and it's gloriously terrible. I mean, I don't even know who wrote it, but it's not good. And I'm thinking that that last summer when I bought 80 Swamp Thing comics, that might have been the greatest purchase of my life. That's been my week.
How much did you pay for that?
Pretty much $1 a piece, which is a good deal.
That's not a bad deal.
$1 per comic. Yeah, I mean, and I think I got free shipping. So
there's software that you can download it for cheaper.
Right. I wanted the physical copies of the '80s comic books because I have
that was a terrible run. Like before Moore took over, I read it. It was pretty terrible.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, luckily there were only 16 or 20 issues before Alan Moore took over, and then it just became amazing. So, now back in the winter, I think it was, I was talking to the guys. I mean, we've talked about it on the Horror Club podcast around that time. I read all the Swamp Things and Animal Mans that they did for the New 52, and it kind of goes back to the pre-Alan Moore type storylines where it's just Swamp Thing punching things. And so, I don't know. If you like good comic books, only read the Alan Moore comic books because the rest are kind of crap.
Have you ever read the Swamp Thing Constantine crossover that they did on Hellblazer?
I think that the only Constantine stuff I know... Are you talking about with the Invunch and the Brujeria? Is that...
No,
I can't remember because I know...
I forget what it was. There was just this storyline where the world was going to end, and so Constantine went to Swamp Thing, and he was like, hey, come on, the world's gonna end. And Swamp Thing was like, I don't care. And then, like,
that was in
two issues later, he was like, come on. And Swamp Thing was like, okay, I'll save the world. And then he just said, it was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what happened was Constantine's ex-girlfriend goes to the Brujeria, somehow gets talked into becoming this bird creature that carries a black pearl of darkness of some sort somewhere, and it's supposed to, like, cause the end of the world. But all it does is you see Swamp Thing go into the darkness, and he talks to it or something, and then the dark hand and God's hand, like, handshake. That was not Alan Moore's finest moment, I gotta say.
All right, guys, that was Jug Face, as picked by our buddy Kanon. Scott has been patting himself on the back right now for not making any motorboating references throughout the entire recording.
Thanks. You're such a dick for bogarting my joke. I hate you.
So next week, Scott can barely keep that erection down from the fact that we're going to be talking about Night of the Creeps.
Don't worry, it's going to be hard as a rock all week. I love it.
So are you going to for next week, are you going to also watch Night of the Comet and compare the Night of movies?
I don't need to, because Night of the Comet, I mean, like, Night of the Comet was, doesn't matter. I should probably mention this next week too, but I always thought that Night of the Creeps and Night of the Comet were, like, the same movie, and so I watched Night of the Comet, I was like, I didn't really love it. And so I never got around to watching Night of the Creeps, and then I watched Night of the Creeps in full for the first time, like, last night, and it's so good. So no, I don't want to rewatch Night of the Comet.
It's one of the two good movies from Fred Decker's 3-film career.
What's the third one?
I think as a good companion piece to Night of the Creeps, because I've never seen Night of the Creeps before, but I've seen Night of the Condoms, or Attack of the Killer Condom.
You mean Killer Condom? Do you just mean Killer Condom, like the
Killer Condom.
German film?
Yeah, if you watch their trailers side by side, it's really obvious that this was just Night of the Creeps, but replaced the slug creatures with condoms crawling on the ground.
Yeah.
Well, I know what I'm doing after we get off the podcast tonight.
Dude, Killer Condom's ridiculous.
Just at least watch both the trailers and tell me, like, they didn't purposely do that shit.
Because Fred Decker did he did Night of the Creeps, and then he did Monster Squad, and then he did RoboCop 3. And then he never made another movie.
Wait, the guy that did Night of the Creeps did Monster Squad?
Yeah.
I'm watching Monster Squad this week. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, and I'll watch RoboCop 3.
And he also wrote House.
Thanks for taking one for the team. He wrote House?
I don't consider taking that one for the team. Yeah. RoboCop 3 is really fucking funny.
With the fucking little kid sidekick.
Yeah, he's got a jetpack. He's fighting ninjas.
What? Okay, I'm watching both. I've never seen RoboCop 3. You talk me into it.
Oh my God, Scott! It's Superman 4 back. Like that.
Oh my God, this is gonna be incredible. Best week ever.
All right, so if you've got any opinions on RoboCop 3 or Fred Decker's career or how awesome Night of the Creeps is, shoot us an email at hmmpodcast@gmail.com so we can talk about it. Do we have a question for Jug Face?
If you were pregnant with your brother's baby and you found your face on a jug, what would you do? What am I supposed to ask about this fucking movie?
Send us your best hillbilly impressions, because that's what half of this conversation was. I hope you remember that.
Yeah, that is true.
Nope, I got it. We want your incest stories.
No, we don't.
So don't forget, you can also follow us on Twitter. Join the Facebook group where most of the conversation happens. Check out the Reddit page at Our Horror Club. And don't forget to shoot us some emails of movies that you want to see us watching. We've gotten a couple. Some people want us to watch Waxwork 2. There's a lot of people on my side of the fence, Team Matt, that want us to watch People Under the Stairs.
Oh, the family members under the stairs. Are we doing Chud, by the way? Because our boss told us to.
Yeah, Jonathan from Geekscape wants us to do Chud. That'll probably happen in the future. So stay tuned.
But on the podcast and talk about it if we end up doing that.
I'm sure he will, if he's not too busy being like Hollywood famous.
Being an amazing person.
So definitely send us some picks. We want to hear what you want us to watch. But I know that we're looking at this list of what's coming up, and there's some good shit on the horizon for you guys. Give us some more good shit.
New shit. So even if it's not good, we're going to make fun of it.
Yep. All right, so next week, Night of the Creeps. Thanks for listening. Peace. Shoot us an email at hmnpodcast.com. Also, God damn it. Hold on a second. Shoot us an email at hmnpodcast@geekscape.com. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
So bad.
Did we just get disconnected here?
Keep going. You're there.
You're still here.
Okay.
Adam's coming back.
Okay, yeah, that wonderful Canadian broadband, second worst in the world, in the developed world.
Man, we were shitting all over every culture today.
New Zealand's the only place that's worse. It's like New Zealand, Canada, and the United States. But we're third, thank God. So anyway, So
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.